Well, there was a time when receiving a handwritten letter or note was pretty commonplace, but thanks in part to the internet, electronic messages are much more common today.
Indeed, that is the case, but like every rule, there are exceptions, and I found one of them. In today's fast-paced world, it is understandable that most folks seldom take the time to sit down and write a message by hand, but as you'll see in this edition of Siouxland Stories, longtime Siouxland School Administrator Les Dalma is bucking that trend. It's something that he's been doing for years, lots of years. The reason why in this edition of Siouxland Stories.
Christmas card season has come and gone. Orange City's Les Dalma doesn't need a holiday to find a reason to send a handwritten message.
I certainly get a joy out of writing the notes.
You see, Dalma has had pen in hand for almost 50 years, although most probably had this longtime educator scribbling numbers instead of notes.
I taught math when I graduated from UNI. Loved teaching math. Was not good at writing necessarily. Certainly wasn't a strength of mine.
That's something Dalma would be hard-pressed to convince others of, because tens of thousands of notes have been jotted, dating back to the 70s. He told me that it wasn't until he received notes of congratulations following a state tournament run by his Sheldon basketball team that he understood the impact that a note can have.
Finally dawned on me, if you will, that I would imagine staff would like to receive some notes, and it was an easy thing for me to do. And I began to write staff, and it just grew from there.
Letter by letter, stroke by stroke. As a teacher and coach to students, as a principal and superintendent to teachers, as the chief administrator of the Northwest AEA to school leaders and parents alike, and to anyone doing good. It's a manuscript that he continues to follow as an 80-year-old retiree.
If you can encourage people to continue to do good things, to continue to work hard at their job and be all that they can be, that type of thing is important to me. Just be all that you can be, and that's all you ask. And you know, there's lots of other things to culture, but note writing helped with that.
Les is quick to point out that anyone can write a note. Remember, he was supposed to be a mathematician.
And there are times I write uphill, and there are times I write downhill. And sometimes when I write that note and I write crooked, I think, oh my. But I just send it anyway, and I go to Walmart, and I just find cards that are on sale, good deal. I don't do 50 at a time, but a cup of coffee really helps. Yeah.
Although Dalma's focus is on others, he admits that there is joy when a message is delivered at just the right time.
People seeing you and say, I got your note the other day, it came at the right time for me. And that meant something. Or it was just special to receive that note. So, yeah, those kind of responses do mean a lot, and it's kind of an encourager then for me to continue that.
Surrounded by memorabilia from achievements of another kind, Dalma says that he sees no reason to discontinue his correspondence. Making an account of another person's success is a win for everyone.
I'm a retired guy. I have time on my hands. I have time. I can sit down at the table and write a note, and why wouldn't I? Because there's always things going on around.
Now, some may be skeptical about the numbers that I just mentioned, tens of thousands. But when you consider, as the leader of AEA, he wrote each of his 350 employees a note or a card twice a year. That's 700 alone. And he had that job for several years, as well as several along the way. As I mentioned, he's now 80 years old. Hopefully, this inspires someone else to pick up the pen.
Yeah, I, for one, don't doubt that. He seems quite prolific. And as he said, even if he messes it up, he sends it away. And I think that's so awesome. I personally love handwritten stuff more.
It's the thought, you know.
Absolutely. Really cool story. Thanks, Tim.